So here's where we are in the story. God had sent his son, Jesus, to rescue people from their sins. He had lived a sinless life on earth for 33 years, and the time had come for him to accomplish God's rescue plan. But things did not look good for Jesus. His closest friends, like Peter, acted like they didn't know who Jesus was. Jesus had just been betrayed, arrested, put on trial, and sentenced to death, even though Jesus had only ever done good things. When he met sick people, he touched them and they were healed. He shared God's love and the good news of God's kingdom, which threatened some people in authority, like the religious leaders in Jerusalem and the Roman governor Pontius Pilate. People were saying Jesus was God's son, the king, the Messiah of Israel. If Jesus was king, then what would that mean for their own power? So they put a heavy cross on Jesus' back and made him carry it to the outside of the city to a hill called the Skull. They had Jesus beaten, mocked, spit upon, whipped. And to make fun of the idea that Jesus was king, they placed a crown of thorns on his head and nailed his hands and feet to a cross. He was being crucified. The soldiers put up the cross so everyone could see Jesus. Then they laughed at him. "If you're the king of the Jews, save yourself! Ha ha!" Jesus prayed for his enemies, just like he had taught his followers. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." There were two criminals also being crucified, one on his right and one on his left. One repeated what the soldiers said. Couldn't Jesus just save himself and get down from his cross? But the other said, "Don't you fear God? We deserve to die for our crimes, but this man hasn't done anything wrong. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus looked at him and said, "Today you will be with me in paradise." Then, even though it was the middle of the day, darkness fell for hours. The light from the sun went out, and far away, across the city in the temple, where a tall curtain separated God's presence from people, the curtain ripped down the middle, from top to bottom. At that moment, Jesus shouted, "Father, I entrust my spirit into your hands." And then Jesus died. Everyone watched, his enemies, his friends, even his family. A Roman soldier realized that what was going on was wrong. Surely this man was innocent. Then Jesus' friends asked for permission to bury Jesus. One of them, a man named Joseph of Arimathea, took Jesus' body down from the cross and wrapped it in a long sheet of linen. Then they carried his body to a new tomb carved in the rock. Some women followed and watched. They watched the body laid in the tomb. They watched as soldiers rolled a heavy stone across the entrance so no one could get in or out. Then they left. Night fell. The sun came up. The sun went down. Another night came and went. On the morning of the third day, some of the women returned to the tomb with Mary Magdalene. She had been a follower of Jesus ever since he had healed her, and now her healer, her Lord, her friend, her teacher had died. So Mary Magdalene and the others came to the tomb to anoint Jesus' body with burial spices. Then she saw something, and someone completely unexpected. The stone had been moved and the tomb was empty. Jesus was gone. Then an angel appeared. "Why are you looking among the dead for someone who is alive? He isn't here. He is risen." Mary Magdalene couldn't believe it. Was it all a trick? Or maybe, was it true? She turned and began to cry when she saw a man in front of her. He said, "Dear woman, why are you crying?"
"They have taken away my Lord, and I don't know where they have put him."
"Who are you looking for?"
"If you have taken him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will go get him."
Then Jesus said, "Mary."
"Teacher."
"Go, find my brothers and tell them." Mary and the other women ran to tell Peter and the rest of the disciples what had happened. Peter didn't believe their story. He ran to the tomb to see it for himself. And sure enough, it was just as the women had said. Jesus wasn't dead. He had risen. Jesus was alive, and he's still alive today. And someday, Jesus will come back and bring heaven to the earth. There will be no more pain, only joy. No more sadness, only love. And no more death, only life. And I can't wait for you to hear that story.